every day you were just pulling in fish left, right, and centre, and like I was letting most of them go back, and that even the big ones and stuff like that. But you can only eat so much fish.
Yeah. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Like we got our guy next door. We got the Greeks. We got Greeks one side. We got Italians the other, right? So
Yep.
both hardcore veggie garden people. So
Yep.
Emma's got the veggie garden pumping here as well. But we're constantly getting all their crap.
Yep.
And the Greek Pete the Greek Cypriot. He's full fisherman.
Yeah.
He's been chomping at the bit. As soon as there was that moment he could go, he's been out there every day. And you say there's only so much fish you can eat. He doesn't care. He'll eat fish 3 times a day. You reckon? So
Yeah. Oh, look, it was good, but as I said, out there we just took a couple of steaks with us, and the thing was, you could go back, pull up at the dock, go into town and pick up anything that you needed and that as well. And we only did that on one day, but it was great because you get off, go for a walk through the bush and stuff like that. So you weren't just stuck on the boat itself. But yeah, I think it's probably the most relaxing holiday I've ever had.
oh, nice. Just what the doctor ordered, pal.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, work's been good and that, but just sort of with everything and that sort of piling around and not knowing what's happening and doing this and doing that. Yeah, it was just nice to get a bit of a break.
Who'd you go out with?
I just went with my wife. So yeah, it's Gabby stayed home with a sister come over, and she went to work and that. So she's still working and that, doing stuff with up at Kyneton there in the cafe, and yeah, so she's going really well up there, enjoys it, and she'll start going down into Melbourne a bit once they can open their cafes back up down there and learn a few more things down there as well.
Nice. That'd be good. You should get back to some level of normality.
Yeah.
Something, eh?
Yeah, you can see it's that when the second wave come along, it really hit people, and I think everybody's just sort of sitting back now and just taking things as they come. They don't expect too much so that they don't get upset by anything that doesn't change. So,
Glenn, just to confirm, your title at Western Water is
security manager.
Security manager. Hey. Security for caring for the community, creating conversations. Cool. Right. So nothing there. Cost post. No. All good. All right, we've got a couple of minutes, mate. So
yeah.
As I said, we'll just chill out. We'll pump it through, mate. We'll be nice, relaxed. Keep your funny. Keep the jokes to me, mate. I've got my spotlight there, so I don't take the spotlight. Even though I can't really work, I've got to really configure this angle thing, because if I stand here, right?
Yep.
Looks like I've got a halo. Yeah.
Yep.
I get that reflection go straight into the camera. But anyway, it's this is the head that you're dealing with, mate.
Yeah, I certainly didn't need to go and get my hair done or anything to be on.
It's been quite funny, all the people freaking out, I haven't had a haircut, and well, shave it.
And that was what happened today. Like, my wife just she gets the shaver out and just shaves it, and that's it. So yeah.
Beautiful. So I'm going to say this: 2 stepdaughters. Is Gabby and is it 2 stepdaughters and 1 son? How do you title it?
I've got three stepdaughters, and I've got my own son and daughter as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want me to say that, or do you want to say as in 4 daughters and son?
Yeah. And that's because I class Gabby and the others as my daughters anyway. So yeah, I don't treat them any differently to what I treat my biological kids. They're exactly the same. So
cool, mate. Beautiful. Oh, Teresa, don't pick your nose because you're going to be on screen the whole time, all right?
Yeah.
So that's all right. Let's rock. We'll get into this and all happy days. And go live. So, welcome back to Monday Night Live. It's been a couple of weeks, and I do apologise for the no show last week. We had it's been a crazy time. Love you as you could appreciate. Obviously, we'll talk about the ride, which is very exciting. We've got our Ride With Me coming up, event coming up in 4 sleeps, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sleeps. So 5-day event, which we have actually 600 people, just over 600 people from all across the country, or all across the world, Glenn, which we'll get to in a second, mate, and we'll talk about your experiences with our events soon. But it was, as I said, we've got people from the US, Canada, South Korea, England, Ireland, New Zealand, which we're very excited about, and all across the country. And you know, we've just ticked over $200,000 in fundraising, and expect another 50,000 plus to come in the next sort of week or so to make sure that this event has been everything that we thought it was going to be, and plus more, and more and more and more again. Because you know, when we first had the conversations with the guys from the nice suburbia, that we're going to do this, we were going to do this event. It's going to be, we were targeting 150 people. So to quadruple that target, we're very appreciative to the amount of support that we've got from everyone out there, plus obviously our sponsors and our main sponsor for the event, which is our great friends at Bunnings, which we're thankful for. So it's it's exciting times. Obviously, the programs, presentations going through the roof. It's been Mental Health Month, which is another great initiative, a social initiative just to create some more awareness. There's going to be enough awareness around the mental health space. Even though it is Mental Health Month, we do believe that every day is Love Me, Love You Day. But look forward to this because there's some exciting news about a possible Love Me, Love You Day going onto the calendar in the 2021, which we're a bit excited about. So stay tuned for that. And plus, it's, the excitement everyone would have got from today, those people living in Melbourne Metro in particular, obviously with Dan Andrews' last announcement, love him, hate him, do whatever you want. The thing is, everyone's got an opinion. People are trying to do their best, and sometimes the results don't, the outcomes don't actually quite work the way that we all wanted them to. But obviously there's a bit of relief. We can see some light at the end of the tunnel, some things happening, and some people hopefully can get back to a level of whatever normality is here. It will present to us. So we're very excited about it at Love Me, Love You. In particular, into being able to, in 2021, being able to get back into the workplaces, back into schools, back into sports clubs, and have these face-to-face conversations to make sure that we can keep fostering a positive change in the mental health outcomes of our community. So we're very excited about that. And obviously, it's been a real challenging time for a lot of people as well, Glenn.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but without further ado, we are going to introduce Glenn Hall, who has been a great supporter of Love Me, Love You for a solid few years now. And I say this every week, and from the darkest of places, we find the brightest of lights. And Glenn came into our life at Love Me, Love You through a caregiving experience with one of his daughters, Gabby, and working through that process, and we're able to support, which we'll go into that story in a second. But Glenn is a security manager at Western Water, nicely presented banner right behind you there, mate. But is, and I say in the title of this thing is that, Glenn is one of the most caring and empathetic men you'll ever meet in your life. And for us, Love Me, Love You, we are very privileged and honoured that you're a part of our family, mate. So welcome.
Thank you very much. And look, love being a part of the Love Me, Love You family and that. And look, anytime I get together with you guys, great.
Yeah. And as I said, from where it come from, where our relationship started, you are a caregiver, you are a parent to 5 kids, we're going to say, a blended family, but we've got 4 daughters, which is going to be challenging for anybody, no matter how awesome you are in life. And the son, who's also very open about his mental health challenges that he's experienced, who lives up in Sydney. So we'll talk about him a little bit as well. But talk to us through Gabby, mate. Obviously, that experience. We're going on to a couple of years ago now, 2.5 years ago now. So, and her experience in terms of why we needed to be helped.
Yeah, look, Gabby suffered a trauma in her childhood and that, and she got to probably 11 or 12 and started to struggle with school, started to struggle with friendships, a bit of the bullying side of things that goes on along the line and things like that. And look, it was becoming a real struggle, and school was becoming a real struggle. But yeah, look, it was one of those things that you walk into. At the time, we were up in Mackay in Queensland, and the support network up there, yeah, pretty much non-existent. It was very, very thin on the ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking basically, yeah, look, Gabby was going through a lot of different things, depression, anxiety. We were spending time up in Townsville in the adolescent mental health unit up there. So that was sort of 5 hours each way when you were doing the trips for there. But what it come down to was Gabby started to self-harm. She started to head towards Bridges. We'd get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning because she wandered out and we didn't know about it, to the point where we had to put an alarm on the door so that we knew if she was coming out. And yeah, it was hard, because trying to learn how to deal with that side of things and trying to be able to look after her was, yeah, really difficult process for both mother and myself, and just trying to learn our way around it. And look, I can guarantee you, we made a lot of mistakes through those early periods, and things that I've learned a lot through, and like through dealing with you and doing the welfare warrior and thing like that. It's I sort of sit back now and look at it and wish that I had have had that with that ammunition when we were doing that. But yeah, basically for, I'd say, probably 5-6 years was pretty much keeping Gabby with us. And yeah, and it was a struggle at times, and yeah, it takes a toll on everybody in the family, but especially with her when you're trying to get her through that period. But look, since the last 2.5 years, and knowing that she's got you guys behind her, speaking with you guys, doing different things, and she's certainly managed to get some coping skills and abilities. She's working now. And yeah, look, very different person, still struggles, still goes through her struggles and things like that, but she's open about it now. She tells us what's happening. She tells us she feels unsafe. And look, these are a lot of things she's learned through you guys, and coping skills that she's got through over the years as well. So it's good that we're at that point now. But yeah, there's always that worry and that issue that she can have those bad days.
Yeah. And you said that it was not a matter of the mistakes and understanding them, but it's because what we don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
And learning these experiences and the ways that we all cope through it as a caregiver, as someone that's supporting somebody, or the person that's directly being challenged on their mental health journey. We learn as we're going along. As you said, from what we were doing 5 years ago, 6 years ago, to what we know now and what we're able to understand now. It's a totally different playbook that we're playing from, and we know that from knowing the fact that when Love Me Love You started 7 years ago, a lot of people were like thinking even mental health was even a word, to what we are actually. It was actually 2 words, but to what we are, now in terms of the ability, in terms around training and education and the resources and the support that's able to go through with it. And there's a lot of stigma that's changed, but I think you've done an amazing job. And as I said, before we move forward there, that please know that everyone that Gabby has given us, permission to be able to tell this story. She is very open with talking about this very experience, and as is Glenn with his own experience, we'll get to in a second. So, but yeah, my biggest thing with Gabby, the first time I met with her, we actually went and had a coffee with yourself and Gabby after a session that we did, after a meeting that we had. I think it was at Western Water with Jimmy there, and just to see the genuine care and love that you both have for each other, was something that moves me, in terms of my experiences that I'm doing for, and was able to actually get the big gratitude hug jar that Gabby, which still sits on our desk it's right in the middle of everyone's desk at the Love Me Love You headquarters. So it's which is a jar that she put and made handmade little paper hearts and wrote a beautiful message on each and every one of them, and there would be 300 in there, I reckon. So one for every day, or close every day of the year, just you appreciate it. You go through a bit of a battle, you dip in, and for her to put herself out there and put that effort into that for us, we're grateful for it, appreciative. How's she doing now? She's on the up. Obviously, challenging period we're going through, but she's getting into a trade. She's getting into the cafe business at the moment, mate. Which is not happening, but
yeah. And look, and she's lucky because she's up at Kyneton, so she's actually able to be back at work, and they do respect her a lot up there with putting her through. And she was just about to start doing a chef apprenticeship when COVID hit. So now they're back, they're sort of getting things going, and they own a couple of cafes too in Melbourne as well, which are obviously shut at the moment. But yeah, look, you can see that she's definitely become more resilient. But well, a bit of an incident at her work, just where there was somebody mentioned something the other day about the self-harm side of things and why anyone would do it. If I can just get you to hang on a second, I got somebody with a vacuum cleaner in the ear.
I'll keep talking about the ride as we go along.
Oh, that's all right. I don't think you can probably hear it too much anyway. So yeah. But yeah, look, and she's just something that happened which sort of set her off a little bit. Just somebody young that doesn't understand what it's about. And look, I was the same. To sit back and sort of understand why that comes about. And look, Gabby and I now, we love each other to death. But look, there was a period of time for about 12 months up there in Mackay where we pretty much didn't talk to each other, which was just her heading out towards cars and things like that, me having to wrestle her onto the ground and hold her down with police and ambulance and that come, and she just saw that as, and like for me, that's just not me in any way, shape or form. Like when it comes to having to wrestle or fight with a female or anything like that, that's just not me, and it devastated me. But look, we've worked through those things, and yeah, we get on great now, and yeah, she's there. She's a great support for me and for the family. And yeah, look, she's doing a really good job with pulling herself through and with the different things that she's done as well, and taking the challenges on to do some courses and things like that as well.
Yeah, which is, as I said, and we talk about the experiences and the journey that we're all going through, being, as I said, directly going through it, or being a caregiver or a support network to somebody. And being in the coal face like that, coming out the other side, and you can see the bond, as I said, you can see the bond that you two have, having known through that experience. And it is hard. And for the people that are supporting someone, out there, Glenn, it's, you do have those days where you're like, what more can I do? Yep. What can I do more? What am I doing? What should I do differently? Is this me? What am I doing wrong? There's a lot of that self-doubt comes in, and understanding through that. How did you stay on top of it? As a human, as a support carer, how did you stay on top of it?
Look, I think it was really difficult. I guess that I was going, well, both the mother and I, when we were up in Mackay, when most of it was going on, we were working, but a lot of challenges with that, Gabby with the school and things like that. But staying on top of it was, I guess you just had to take each day as it come. You take each day as it come. You support her, get her through, doing everything that you can along the line when it comes to going and seeing the doctors and counsellors and everything. Unfortunately, in that side of things, she probably didn't really connect with anybody up there, which, as you've said along the line, finding that connection with somebody to be able to speak to. It was a strain, well and truly, on like our older sister that was up there with us. It was a big effect on her because, yeah, Gabby was sort of taking the different drugs and things like that were being given to her, and chops and changes, which changed the mood. And yeah, look, you really did have to take it one day at a time, try and learn as you went along, try and identify when you thought there was a problem coming up. But there was sometimes she could have an absolutely great day and have that great high, and then all of a sudden, bang, that low just hit that night, and she'd get up and walk out the door or something in the middle of the night. So yeah, it was just constantly being aware, learning what she was like, and yeah, it's trying to get help for how we could manage it when we're up there was difficult. Coming down to Victoria, a lot better with how we were able to do that, and going through the adolescent unit down here at Austin and that, and the people there were fantastic that we spoke to, and we were able to put a lot of things in place which really helped us there too.
Yeah. And you speak about the people at the crew at Austin Hospital, the youth department there. Amazing people. I actually went in and did a presentation and a sit down with the team from the hospital there a little while ago. And you said just to see the genuine care and empathy and just appreciation of life. But for me walking in there, the whole experience that it is of actually one being admitted into that scenario, that sort of situation, quite a challenging one, especially for a teenager to understand, especially when they're going through it. Why am I here? And you said from obviously the experiences earlier on in Gabby's life that got her to that position. But you said that moving forward is also going to be triggers in conversation that we're going to constantly be having an understanding. But as I said, the more awareness we're doing, more education that we're giving people, it's because people are saying certain things that they just don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. They just don't understand it. That's fine. We just understand that we also then have a position and a role to play to further educate those conversations for those people. And for Gabby to be able to do that moving forward, being so open, I think you got a bit of a winner on your hands, mate. But obviously that comes from obviously yourself and your lovely in role modelling that very behaviour, because you also are very open about your experiences, mate. You talk about your experiences with your mental health challenges. Walk us through that from where it was to where we are now.
Yeah, look, I guess with my mental health challenges, I probably sit back and I try and look at if there was any trigger for it or anything like that. But I think I can probably trace it back to when I was probably about 12 or something in year 6 at primary school. No triggers, no anything like that, just something that was there. And over the years, you sort of back then, like I'm 54 now, and it was so back then it was just one of those things that wasn't spoken about or anything like that. And so nobody really dealt with anything. And over the years, I've sort of been through my career. I was in the police for 8.5 years in New South Wales, and I sort of seemed to cope with that all right. But I guess you always carry little bits and pieces with you from things that you see there. It's a very different world that you live in when you're doing that job.
Yeah.
And but I think like where I am now with Western Water, I've been here for 3.5 years, really settled. Since I left the police, which was 1996, I probably haven't really settled into any role. I've moved around a bit. And but with me, I got to a point with a relationship breakup at one point in time where I was pretty much sitting on a train. I'd been in to see my psychologist in Sydney. Yeah. I walked out. That was it. I was just gone. I was on a train thinking about opening the doors and jumping out. I was in cars thinking about throwing myself out of moving cars. I was putting everything in place to go in that direction, and I sort of clicked to me one day. I was within 1 or 2 lows of no longer being here. It had just got to that point, and as much as I could see in my mind that I shouldn't do it and do it to family, everything like that, it was so logical. It was just the way it was, and it was a horrible feeling to know the two different areas of it. Anyway, just driving along one time, in tears, song came on the radio, which I sort of listened to, then there was a couple of songs in a row, and all of a sudden there was just something that clicked in me that said, that's it. You're going to fight this, and you're really going to go after it. And anything negative that pops into your mind, you're just going to drive it out, and you're going to think positive. And I sort of put that in place, and I was able to sort of drag myself along, and with the psychologist and that, who was really good. She was excellent. Just talking to her and really working with her and just doing those things, driving that and making myself get out and do those things that I like to do again, and not sort of where you lose that drive to do anything, your sports and things like that. So I was sort of able to do that. And it was funny. It was just a couple of songs that come on the radio, which made me sort of think a little bit more. And since then, other songs that I've heard and that you can put some meaning to. And yeah, if I'm feeling a bit down or something like that, I'll sort of go to that and I'll try and do that. And my way of coping with it's probably go to sleep. So I've always made sure I've avoided alcohol because I knew that'd be the worst thing that I could possibly do with it. And have a beer every now and again, but that's it. But yeah, I've avoided that and tried to sort of manage myself that way and go from there. But yeah, take drugs. Yeah, I do need them without any doubt at all. If I sort of move away from them or anything like that, yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, we're talking prescription, the ones that you're.
Yeah. All prescription gear. It's all the right stuff. So
yeah, be careful how you lead into that one. It's probably a little bit different to my old story, mate. But,
yeah.
But as you said, and the place that medication plays for you in terms of that balancer is a very integral part of your treatment plan and your recovery plan, or just your well-being plan.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Mate, can you tell me what the song was?
Like honestly, I'll tell you, one of them that I heard was the Silverchair Straight Lines.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a real laugh at one of the other songs that come on while I'm driving along. It was before the crazy Miley Cyrus thing, but it was The Climb.
Okay.
I heard that, and another one was Foo Fighters' Best of You. And I sort of listened to that song and I sort of put it to, and you look at it and you could sort of put that down as the depression side of things, doing it. And I remember what you said a while ago, and that you don't suffer from depression. You've got to fight it and that. And I've taken that well and truly on board. And look, there's some days I would go, yes, I suffer from it because I can feel it. It's there, and I'm fighting and try. But I've taken what you've said on board and that, and I try not to say that now. That I deal with it rather than suffer from it. So
yeah, you deal with it. We live with it. We understand how we better manage our system, and understanding how we better manage our system is not having alcohol, listening to music, getting good sleep, working through your psychologist or whatever help that you are there. If that's how you live with it, make it work. Yeah, because suffering, yeah, we do, and this is when I talk about suffering, is about the understanding that people suffer in silence. Yeah.
Yep.
Once we understand it, we acknowledge it, we accept the very fact that we're going through these challenges. We take ourselves into that position of power, as opposed to in terms of the actual victim. Okay. So if we're putting ourselves in the position of power, because we're having these conversations with readily acceptable in terms of the help and support that's needed, and we're putting these plans in place with these small gestures of behaviour, we live with it, we deal with it, and we better manage our system. Depression, like anything else, is a system, okay? We just understand how we better manage our system. Same thing, anxiety and the range of every other type of mental illness out there. But that's the world that we're living in, and hats off to you for sharing, mate. And every time we've been at something, Glenn, or presented with the Western Water team, who are an amazing bunch of people, by the way, and we're going to talk about what the guys and girls there are doing around the mental health and wellbeing plan, because there is actually a big campaign around it all, and there's a lot of activity in the workplace that you're very privileged to be a part of. But you do openly share that story. How powerful is it for you to be able to share that all the time, and knowing that it's okay to have that conversation now?
Look, I worked out a few years ago on that was what I had to do.
Yeah.
You have to talk. When you have those your down days and that, now you find yourself going back into that not talking mode, which is the worst thing that you can possibly do. But for me to be able to be open and honest, I'm not embarrassed by it or anything. I didn't ask for it. It's not something that I want. It's something that's there, and it's something that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
And if I can, by talking about it and being open and honest, and let's face it, guys are the worst in the world for holding things in and for not saying anything about it, and then things turn really bad. And I'm just open and honest. I'm open and honest right around our business, whether it be with our field staff, whether it be in the office, anywhere I go. I'm quite happy to tell my story because I'm lucky. I'm here, and I was very close to not being here. And yeah, and it was one of those things. And if by me telling a story can get somebody else to open up and talk about it and be safe and saved, and then maybe go in the same direction along the line, then I'm more than happy to discuss it. It never worries me at all. I'm just one of those people that is open and honest with it, that it's just something that's there, and it's something that a lot of people are dealing with now, and especially during this period of time with COVID.
Hats off to you, mate. I'll give you a round of big applause because as I said, it is very much that situation. By sharing and connecting that conversation, it has a flow-on effect to others, to be able to understand what their journey is, and even impacts on someone. Even if it's just impacting one person, just this little bit, that keeps happening. It flows on. Those small gestures, those conversations have the greatest of impact, and that keeps connecting to other people out there. So it's the honesty that you share your story with, which we all need, is because this is life. Yeah.
Yep.
This is life that we're dealing with. If we can't be honest with what we're going through, then don't tell anybody.
Yep.
That's not what we're about. Like, we're connecting this story, and I had this conversation with someone the other day. So just take away the phrase of mental health. Take away the very idea.
Yep.
Let's just talk about life. Yeah. I go through ups, I go through downs, I go through everything in between. The roller coaster that we're all living in and living on. Sometimes you just got to hold on with both hands, bite down hard, and go. Yeah. Sometimes you're able to actually let your hands go and scream at the top of your lungs, and it's fine. And it's just making sure that we're living this roller coaster together. And so sharing their very experience. And as a male, and as you said, historically, that has been a bigger issue in terms of being able to express oneself. For fear of judgment, bias, and embarrassment that comes with that type of conversation historically. As I said, but moving forward in 2020, where everything is different, this is the world we're living in. But and I think it's been an amazing experience, which we don't want to have been through COVID. Yeah. But this experience is also a greater opportunity for us, a greater appreciation of opportunity about being able to talk about these sort of things. Becoming to a spotlight that's allowing people to have more and more conversations and do what we need to do. How's it impacted into the workplace, the COVID experience, mate, for everyone there? Because you are based in the Western Water headquarters is based in Sunbury, and you have field officers and people all working all over the place in the Shire. How's it impacted everyone?
Yeah, well, look, and that's the thing. Like, I'd say you've probably got half the business lives within the metropolitan area, half lives just out of it. So, and that's what we cover. We cover right up to Lancefield, Mount Macedon, down through to Melton as well, right down through that way. So we work in both areas. So we've got our office people. We've dropped from about 200 people in the office down to probably about 7 each day. And that's pretty much it. Those that come into the office, we segregated it into various zones, so you can't leave your zone, so that we know that you're only traveling within that zone in case there's an issue or a problem. But look, it's definitely had an effect on everybody. Some people are quite happy to be working from home. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
Other people, but they like that social interaction and being able to be in with people. Other people can sort of go both ways. I'm lucky I get to work from home and get to be in the office. But I think what happened was right before even COVID started, the business has been very much focused on the mental health side of thing. Our managing director, Jeff Rigby, he's leading the way with a group within the water industry in regards to it, because it's been identified as a critical area within the industry. And he's been fully supportive of everything that we've been trying to do around the place. And we've had you come in, do talks. But once this come about, we knew that we were going to have some issues and we were going to have some problems. So started out with some just one-on-ones, group of us got there, just ringing people up, or getting online, talking to them, making sure they're all right, doing things, to where that's now evolved to where we even have our executive doing that, our senior managers, and people that have volunteered from our wellbeing committee and things like that, that we constantly keep in contact with our staff. Just half-hour conversation, 15-minute conversation, just to have a chat to them and just to see how they're going. And yeah, look, there's people that do struggle a bit with it. Other people, they're quite fine. But yeah, we sort of put some things in place for anybody that is struggling online, make sure that we maintain their privacy. But it's we've recently I've just got some figures here, statistics from our recent wellbeing survey, and 97.5% of our staff agree that Western Water's taken the appropriate action in response to the pandemic, and 98% agree that Western Water is demonstrating a strong health, safety and wellbeing focus during the pandemic. So we do a lot of different things. We have coffee roulette, where you'll just get matched with somebody that's just anybody in the business that you'll have a half-hour chat to just over a coffee. I've set up a few things where I do a game where it's songs. So I do a music scramble, songs and the artists and with the people's names, and it's become a few people take it very, very seriously with wanting to win it and put it all together. Even we do get the whole group together at least once a month, and that online, where we discuss different things and that, so the whole business comes together. And I'll dress up in something stupid or do something stupid, I'll have a light on that and put something on it. And look, fully supported. The chairman of the board's been on there when it's been done, and he's just laughing, and the MD's just said to keep going. And look, and these are just different little things that we've tried to do. We've got a wellbeing committee that we set up immediately once this come in, to just find ways and means to keep people engaged and give people training for managing teams in the field. And look, I think we've done well. And at the moment, a few of us have done Welfare Warrior. We've got 40 more doing it in the next month. And and we've done, a few of us have done mental health first aid courses as well. But yeah, we're really trying to push it through the business, that everybody in the business does the Welfare Warrior course. And so that when that conversation comes up, you're armed with the information that you need to be able to have that conversation, have it with some confidence, and not be worried that you're doing the wrong thing anywhere along the line. And the course was great. There was 5 of us did it, and we love it.
Yeah, and you said you've been through that, and hats off to you for those wellbeing survey, first of all, and that is for everyone involved at Western Water to have those results come back. It's pretty exciting in terms of the fact that it gives you that confidence to say, yeah, we're doing the right thing, and then obviously working through, as you said, the big Jeff, being the head of the water industry around this mental health components, a great man that he is. We're very excited about this ongoing relationship with Western Water, and getting the next the 40 in November, go through the first stage for the rollout of Welfare Warrior in there, which we love the program. There's obviously things that we're constantly developing, constantly tweaking. This is like anything in any business or any organisation or in your own life. You're constantly tweaking and making sure that we're on top of it and we're getting the best results out of the program as much as possible. So it's we're very excited about that. And for those people out there as well, there are some community. There's a November community program that where the dates have been released, So just check out through the website, and we'll put it in the comments here as well for those dates. But check out that. But there's a cost to it, but we just enables us to do it. We'll probably have there's probably about 300, I think, booked in terms of our corporate workplaces, community groups, before the end of the year, which is kind of exciting. It's a lot of people that just, as I said, very much so, Glenn, that just being armed with the tools and the knowledge and the confidence to be able to have this type of conversation and then be able to back it up, knowing that you're not doing the wrong thing, that you are just there to be a part of that conversation and escalate it where it needs to get to. And I think that's the biggest thing, because the biggest thing, and I don't know about you, but for me, same thing, was the biggest thing that held you back from having these types of conversations was not having the knowledge. Yep. And then lack of confidence without having that knowledge and going, I'm going to do the wrong thing, so I may as well not do it. Yeah. And I bring it back to a footy analogy. And one of my old footy coaches said, he goes, a lot of players, they don't stuff up because they actually don't have a crack. Yeah. So they can't make a mistake unless you actually get your hands on the ball. So you're better off actually getting to the contest as much as you possibly can and actually influencing that contest. It's the same thing with these mental health conversations. Get to the conversation, influence the conversation where it needs to get to, and then escalate it to the right appropriate place. So, we're going through there. But your son, I'm going to pump it up to obviously the big team at Western Water, and you said feeling like you belong and you're feeling settled in the workplace is an amazing experience, because all we want to do is belong. The safer we feel and the more settled we feel in our experiences, the better we perform. Yeah. So being in that place. But before we move to the more serious stuff, we're going to talk about your little putting your hand up to do the 60Ks for the March with Me next year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had put down to do the 60Ks, but I think it's dropped down to 40 now, which is, let me tell you, it's certainly a relief, because I'm not the smallest guy in the world. And but I'm trying to get myself a bit fitter. But look, when that comes up again next year, and that I'll definitely be there. Look, that was one of the best days that I've ever had. Just the people that I met there, the support that was there for everybody walking along, just people would walk up, start talking to you. As you said, you don't take the journey alone, and people would just come and talk to you, and that maybe it looked like I was going to have a heart attack or something like that. I don't know that it was the 50Ks I did, but look, I absolutely loved that day. It was just, people with a smile on their face, people that were happy, and just a really enjoyable day to go out. And I think we probably had about 20 people from Western Water that day. And look, next year, one of my big pushes is to try and get the different water corps involved, so that we can sort of have team events and that, where we're against each other and things like that. So
competition of the water corps, which it could be getting arrested. So might have to call extra security in for that one, I reckon. And one of those people that did it in 2019, Matty, he ran the 60 kilometres, and he actually ran it that quick. He got there before everything was set up, and missed all the drink stations and all the lunches and everything. And he, but still crossed the finish line, had his hot dog or whatever it was, and then he actually made his way home. So it's didn't really enjoy the experience of having those conversations, because no one could keep up with him. But it is 45 next year, mate. So you're all good there. But and for those knowing, the March with Me obviously was cancelled this year. Obviously COVID experience, but we are hopefully, big fingers crossed, mate. 2021, be back bigger, better than ever, abiding by all the COVID policies and everything that we need to do. Yep. Make sure that this event can go ahead, because as you said, Glenn, the very connection of conversation that you have with people at that event is amazing. And it just creates more conversations, as we said before, about the flow-on effect of those conversations, and those small gestures have the greatest impact. So stay tuned, everybody, because hopefully we are able to release dates or information towards the end of next month, hopefully. And for those people still waiting for flow-on registrations, you'll be contacted in the next month about what's happening. So stay tuned for all that. So, but obviously, I couldn't get you on the bike. I couldn't get you on the bike though, Glenn. The Lycra wasn't going to be out for the choice.
Look, the bike side of things, I actually looked at it and that, but I bought one of those bikes that you sit back on at home and that, and I did a little bit of it, and I thought, yeah, no, I need to get a little bit fitter to be doing that one with what I'm up against there. But yeah, look, it's one of the things where we do it here too. We've done the 10,000 steps challenge each day and things like that as part of what we've done here with our well-being in that as well, and look, it's something that I've got no doubt that when the guys are back out and they're doing the cycling next year, we've got a few very keen cyclists here that'll probably want to jump in and do it as well.
Which we're all excited about. As I said, very excited about. I do have a target of 500 kilometres and 10,000 metres to do over the 5 days, which is going to make sure that I have enough of the anti-friction cream, Glenn, to make sure that we're all okay, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you've ridden 500 kilometres and 10,000 metres, or feel like you've been riding 18 horses. It's not the experience that I'm after. But going through that, mate, your son Sam. And you shared a video with me recently that Sam did, and how open he was. Once again, it's a common thread that is coming from out under your house. And he lives in Sydney. Talk us through what he did, and then obviously how proud you are of all your kids. But you said about the very pride of his honesty.
Yeah, look, what happened was he was 18. It was the week before his HSC high school certificate in Sydney. I was in Mackay, so I'm 2,000 kilometres away, and I got a phone call at about 9 o'clock in the morning from my daughter, and she would have been 20 at the time, and I looked at my phone, and straight away I knew it wasn't going to be good news, because my daughter ringing me at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning it wasn't going to be good. So she rang me, said he'd been involved in a car accident. He was the passenger in his car, and they'd flown him through to hospital. And she sort of couldn't give me too much more. The police had turned up on the doorstep. She was at home by herself at the time. And so she was sort of trying to do that. So I've tried to get flights out of Mackay that day, couldn't. So I was on the first flight out the next morning, but I was just keeping in contact with them at home. Anyway, I went onto Facebook, and unfortunately on Facebook, a picture of the car come up from on a police website that had been there. And when I saw his car, that was the end of me. I thought, he can't survive this. Just the car was just absolutely destroyed. And look, it was an 80-kilometre zone, country road. There was a girl driving the car. We still don't know to this day why, because he never let anybody drive his car. But he'd spent the night out. They'd spent the night out camp, and he had a severe burn on his left hand, around his left finger. So whether something's happened with that, because it would have been on the way towards the local hospital. Nobody could explain how he got the burn. He ended up losing his left little finger and part of his hand just through the severity of it. But look, he suffered major head injuries. The scans were just horrendous. Fractured his neck, a few other injuries, internal injuries and things like that. So if you ever want a reality check or anything, walk into an intensive care unit and see your 18-year-old son or a relative or something there, hooked up the machines and then keeping them breathing. It's been there and done it a lot when I was in the police, and you'd go in there, but when you have that connection, it was horrendous. So he was in there after about a week and a half. They brought him out of the coma. They didn't give him much chance without saying that, but they said just his head injuries the brain scan was not good, and they couldn't tell us what happened. He ended up coming out of it. Spent about 2.5 weeks there. He was there, I'd spent the nights with him, making sure he was all right. he was all over the place. So we weren't sure what damage had been done there, just hallucinations, different things. But 6 weeks later, he walked out of that hospital and neck in a brace and walked out. A lot of therapy, a lot of things to do, but because he had the head injury, caused him some issues with depression and things like that. Not knowing exactly what happened also caused him a lot of issues. They're just those unanswered questions. And over the period of time and that, he sort of developed a resilience. He's very open and honest with discussing it. He actually goes to the hospital and gives presentations to students at the hospital when they're in there. He goes to schools, universities, full auditoriums at the universities in Sydney, where he gives his story on his accident and everything that happened, the effects on himself, the effects on the family. And he's also done a few other things, as you saw the interviews and things like that, where he's just very open and honest with what he does and really leads that side of things with trying to sort of get that out there and that, yeah, people do suffer from these things, especially with his age, and that he's 23 now. Look, he was going all right with his soccer and doing pretty well with that along the line. He probably was never going to play for the Socceroos or anything like that, but loved it, was playing at a high level, and now he still plays, but just plays with his mates and that because he just can't afford to take a head knock or anything like that, but does his cricket. Just moved into a place with his girlfriend, and yeah, but just really proud of what he's done with the way he's taken it on. And yeah, look, he's had his times where he started to struggle, and he's gone and signed himself into the private facilities and that because it's covered because of the accident. Yeah. Goes to signs himself in there, gets himself the help that he's needed and that, and sort of builds up that resilience and does it. But he's always looking at that side of things and try to deal with it. I guess to an extent I've probably just been that distant person, being in Melbourne and Mackay originally and then Melbourne. And but it's probably more his mum and stepfather stepfather's been great as well. Really great guy, really looked after the family and that when this happened. And with my daughter as well, and with the other kids and that, they are from the other marriage, and had a lot more effect on them, and just his mood swings, things like that, just the way that he can sort of change. And it has affected that side of things, but yeah, he's working, got a good job. He started university, but found that wasn't for him. And he actually works with kids doing before and after school care, coaches soccer teams, things like that. And that's how he gets through it. But yeah, once again, same as me, just very open and honest out there. And just if he can save one life, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I look forward to actually being able to meet him. Reached out to him, post you sharing that the video with me from one of his interviews. That very open and honest conversation. As you said, yeah, the impact. People say if it changes one person's life, then it's had an impact.
Yeah.
That's obviously, we want that to keep going. We're not going to be able to change someone's life every day.
Yeah.
But that's the impact that we're actually having. And said, just from being open and honest about the very experiences that we've been through. Hats off to him. And did he get his soccer skills from you, Glenn, mate? Because I heard you've got three left hooked.
Look, I probably only stopped playing about 6 years ago, and that was because I moved up north and they didn't have any old Codgers comp or anything up there where I could run around. But as you know, I'm built more like an NRL player, and I could be playing front row for the Storm rather than run around at a soccer field. But when I was a kid, I sort of did pretty well. But I guess as a kid back then, you didn't have that drive or push or anything like that to really take it to those next levels. Not like there is now with your grassroots sports where every kid's the next Ronaldo or Messi or something like that. And yeah, you see that side of things coming through, and yeah, been through that and done that as well. And you can see the effect that has on some kids too.
Yeah, and with the soccer, mate, the biggest drop off of any participation at any age of any sport is in soccer post 16.
Yeah.
16 and above, but biggest drop off in participation purely because of the avenues moving forward. But it is number one participation rate below. So it's the whole range of things. But as I said, I'm a big soccer guy. There's not enough contact in it for me to play. But obviously, my old man, as we know, was a former Socceroo. Which I was actually able to go back there last week because I had to go do some filming for a documentary series on mental health and suicide down in Gippsland. Last week, I was able to see my mum and dad for the first time in 4 or 5 months, which is amazing. It's just an experience to be able to do and be. But my dad recently received this year the Socceroos cap, and I've spoken about this before, but to see it in person was just amazing. It just blew my mind, and it was very humbled by the fact that my old man was a Socceroo, and a champion, and still is a champion. It's just a champion of different things, and one of them is just being that. So that relationship. When we talk about those relationships that I had with my dad growing up, because of the lack of understanding that we both had of each other's challenges, because we just didn't know what they were. But then now these days, being able to very openly and without judgment and genuinely having these types of conversations just about life, not about anything else, but just talking about stuff, which is what we're all should be able to do. So how do you take care of yourself now? Take away from your soccer days because you can't do it anymore, Glenn? And
look, I did join the gym 4 days before they shut it down for the second time, so that hasn't helped the cause at all.
We'll blame COVID on that one, will we?
Yeah, that's what I blame it anyway. So the few people when I've said that have said, yeah, same with me. So, or they're sitting there having a beer or something like that, the pizza. But look, I think I just try and do a bit of walking and stuff like that. And I've got a bike at home and try and get on that a bit and try and do a little bit more and sort of build up over the next few months. But as I said, I'm tipping about 130 kilos and that, and I sort of can't do a lot of running until I get about another 25 of that off. So, but yeah, it's been hard not playing soccer. And look, I do coach. I was coaching 2 sides this year, an 18 girls and under 12 boys, but with everything that happened, that just folded. So I was doing a bit of running around there, which was good, and I enjoy that side of things, just like watching kids develop and stuff like that. And my aim with that is if they come back and play the next year and they've got better during the year, I've done my job. So
retention rate and improvement is what you're after. Mate, just going to go through some comments because you're a bit of a fan base pumping on here. Obviously, you're a very much caring and empathetic man you'll ever meet. John Sierra is about good on you, Glenn, and thank you, Gabby and Mel, for being brave enough to share your experiences to help others. Proud of you all. So well done. And Michelle's one act of kindness can make a profound difference to someone. Most definitely. And this is what we do, every day. And the littlest of things, not the big things. The big acts of kindness are usually the ones that you want credit for. And it says the small acts of kindness, the random acts of kindness that we just do just because we can. And I touch on that because, as I said, obviously Alexander is my oldest, who's 5, just turned 5 last month. He's doing the ride this week. And we got him his little Lycra top, so he's all pumped with that. And he's our special bike Sunnies that he's stolen from me. But and we talk about the reason why we do these events or do these things for people or for organisations. And we keep saying to him, we don't do it because we have to. We do it because we can. And that's what it is. You don't ask for credit. You don't ask for anything in return. You just do it because you can. And I think that is also why we connect so nicely, Glenn, because that's what you're all about. I know that. So, Amber says, "What a lucky girl to have you as a dad." Most definitely, and not to be messed with either, as you said. playing front row for the Melbourne Storm. Not to be met, but they're very lucky. M says, thanks for being a role model for others and helping to reduce the stigma. Keep going through. Fantastic hearing you speak up, Glenn, and talking so honestly about you and Gabby. I would love to share this from Katrina. Mate, the list goes on, and even my mum has popped in for a Monday Night Live. She loves a little bit of Facebook, the old Glenda. But how wonderful it is that you are able to share your life story, sharing always helps others. And mate, it goes on. This is berserk. It's you're a great man, Glenn, doing great things for the community and your people and your family. And yeah, we're a big part of being a big part of the Love Me Love You family. As I said, you're one of the first people that always puts their hands up to help with whatever we need. So we're much appreciative of that. And you know, 2021 might be the year of the Lycra, Glenn. You never know. You never know. Hey?
I tell you what, it's going to take a lot of work for me to be able to get into something like that. I don't know if I've got that amount of time.
I never say never. Never say never.
Oh, look, it'd be nice to. But look, with your mum and dad too, I've met them quite a few times. Absolutely beautiful people, and that I just love them to death. They're just such great people, and with what they do with helping you out with the organisation and that as well, and right through the organisation, everybody that I've dealt with there, it's great. And just with me, when it comes to Western Water and that, I guess I'm just a bit of a mouthpiece, but we've probably got 4 or 5 people, especially in this business, and that like Matt that you spoke about, he's head of our OH&S, and we've got Matt, Shana, Alexis, Richard, and a few of the others that really champion it along the line within their areas, and that as well with trying to get things out there and trying to get it to talk. So, and as I said, I'm somebody that knows you and knows what you like, and I know that what you've done, and I know the guys, I've spoken to them a few times in the field. Can't wait to get you out to have a barbecue with you once this is all over. And yeah, look, that's a big thing, because once again, the guys and that are out there digging holes and out there in the field dealing with people every day and that, and yeah, and they're really good, and yeah, you can see that they've opened up with the different things as well.
Yeah, and we recently were able to connect with them all, or not all of them, but a lot of them, through the virtual sessions that we've been able to do.
Yep.
And as I said, the genuine appreciation that you can see in creating that space for them. As you said, for you and the team at Western Water, as the integral part of that wellbeing committee, which is obviously flowing on from the top right through to everybody in the organisation. It's amazing. So keep it up, mate. But as you said, as we move forward, you know, obviously we've got the walk coming up next year. We've got the ride coming up this week, end of this week. We start for 5 days. But you know, plenty of programs, presentations. We're constantly moving forward. We're always looking for more ways that we can have an impact in our community, because that's our vision. You know, how do we foster a positive change in the mental health outcomes of our community? So you know, if you'd like to get more involved, please reach out to us. As I said, we're going global now, due to this event. Maybe we got going to America, Canada, England, Ireland, and New Zealand. We're even making our way to South Korea and India. So that's where we're at. But mate, I do appreciate your time, Glenn. As always, you never say no to us. Love me, love you. You know, so I really appreciate that, mate. It's always a great experience to chat to you, buddy.
No, look, and I really appreciate you having me on and giving me the time to, give my story and that. And as I said, hopefully might make a few people on that have a think and get them to speak out as well. So
yeah, that's definitely. And for everyone, we do have obviously the event coming up, and you know, what greater way to have our last proper Monday Night Live for Mental Health Month with the great Glenn Hall, who is, as I said, and you've lived the experience. If you've watched this whole thing, the most caring and empathetic man you'll ever meet in your life. But we do have a bonanza of Facebook Lives next week. So we have Kirsten Corbin, who is the Executive Manager of programs from Big Health will be with us on Friday night, 7:30. And then we have Asher Packman, who will be with us, I think, the Saturday or the Sunday, who is the president, I think, president of Meditation Australia, and the most spiritual and beautiful men that you would connect with. An amazing story there. Also have the managing director, Mike Schneider, managing director of Bunnings, Mike Schneider, who will be joining us on the Monday evening to talk about life that we all love, because we all love Bunnings, don't we, Glenn? But
We do.
the challenges that come through, but now the great news of this week, hopefully, and retail opening up. And then we have our nice suburbia team and talking about the vision and growth of the organisation in partnership with Love Me, Love You on the last night of Tuesday. So bonanza, four episodes over 5 nights at 7:30. So please join us and connect with the crew as we move along. And get my updates and everyone else's updates about what we're riding. As I said, 500 Ks and 10,000 metres is my target. So it's equivalent of doing possibly about 25 to 30 hours of cycling in 5 days, which, break it out, it's not that bad. It's, as I said, to the anti-friction cream, and here we come, Glenn. So I'll get you some of that, mate, and you'll be all good.
Yeah, I'll be right. I'll be there.
Appreciate it, team. And remember, love me, love you, and have a great night. Cheers.
No, look, thank you very much.
Thanks, Glenn. Cheers.
Thanks, Les. Bye.